So we have been distributing reconsideration awards since the end of March when reconsideration opened. And awards are being sent out every few days, definitely on a weekly basis. And as per our budget model, which we talked about when reconsideration opens, we do keep a lot of funds left for sort of the end, mid-April to end of April, knowing that a lot of people do submit later on in the month. So we do still have plenty of funds left. We are planning on making more offers over the coming weeks. Probably tomorrow will be the next round that goes out. We'll definitely be making some more awards next week. And then through early May, the form does close on April 30th. So for those of you that have not submitted a request yet, you do still have a little bit of time. And again, our advice is that if you still are not sure sort of what your complete picture looks like, or if you feel like there's a scholarship that might be sent to you very shortly, we do recommend kind of waiting. And you can definitely wait up until the deadline if you would like to submit a request. We have been getting a lot of emails from those of you with 4/21 deadlines. That's Monday. I know a lot of other schools have April 24th deadlines as well. Again, if you have submitted the reconsideration form and you've submitted it at least a few days in advance so that we can actually review, we are aware of those, we are seeing those, and we are trying to prioritize those requests so that we can get back to you in time and give you at least a few days to make a final decision. So for those of you that might be in that case where you have a deadline coming up on Monday, we are trying our very best. And for the most part, we are meeting those deadlines. The only ones that I'm seeing that maybe haven't been met, or, if you're submitting and your deadline is in 2 days or something like that, the committee is unable to review in such a short amount of time. But if you've submitted your request, you have a deadline sometime next week, you're waiting to hear from us, we are trying our very best, and most likely you would hear something from us within the next few days. Other than that, as I said, we do plan to make awards continuing through next week. And then the first week of May is typically, the form has closed. We look at all remaining requests and everybody will get a decision from us. So the first week of May is sort of when our last decisions will go out. So if you haven't heard from us, you will get a final decision at that point with either an award letter or an email saying that we are unable to grant your request. So that's basically where we are in the process right now. I'm happy to answer any questions. The best way to ask those is probably to use the Q&A feature. So we are just going to use the remaining time to answer any questions you all have. So go ahead, if you have any, write them in the Q&A. We're happy to answer those. I know some of you might be typing in, so I don't want to end the meeting prematurely. So we'll just wait a couple more minutes and see if any questions come in. Um, Otherwise, I mean, hopefully those answer your questions as far as where we're at, and we do see you, and thank you for your patience if you've already submitted a request and have yet to hear back from us. And I saw a question just came in. For those who submitted reconsideration requests without another offer from another school, do those people see less success in this process? No, it's more common for people to apply with an offer from another school. But we definitely have that option for you to have submitted based on financial need. And so during those requests, we look through your supplemental gift aid application that you submitted. And that again looks at both sort of your present financial situation, historical, kind of growing up, what your financial situation was with your family. And then there's also that text box in the form where you can also put if there's been changes, more recent things, other things that you did not talk about in the SGA that should be considered. Because for the most part, if you already submitted the SGA, within a few weeks of your admission decision, that was already reviewed by the team. So we look at that and then we make a decision. And then again, we're doing a holistic review of your application as well. So it's not just based on the need, just like if somebody were to submit an offer from another school, we would still do a, holistic, comprehensive review of all of your application materials. Um, yeah, I don't know the specifics of like how many of those requests are approved or denied or what the exact dollar amount. And it also depends on what you're requesting, what your financial situation is. If you already got an initial offer from us and you're asking us to increase that, or if you haven't gotten any aid from us and you're asking for something. So it's very intricate, but I can say like we definitely have been giving out those awards. And we are reviewing those periodically as well. And again, if you haven't gotten a decision from us at this point and you submitted based on financial need, we are reviewing those. And, we are getting back to people as soon as we can. The latest you would hear would be that first week of May, after the form closes. Um, but I do think, based on what you write in there and what your situation is, people are definitely getting positive responses based on those requests.
Right, Alice, we have one more question. This question is a specific scenario. So I submitted the reconsideration form and listed April 30th as the offer deadline, but I have another school's deadline on April 24th. Is it likely that I hear back by the 24th, or should I ask the second school with the 24th seat deadline for an extension?
Yeah, that's a good question and one that we've been fielding a lot. As you can imagine, as we explained, when reconsideration opens, we are getting, 400 to 500 requests. So it's very difficult for us to sort through these requests, review them, try to get, do our best to get back to people by the dates that they've put on there. And so in general, we are using the date from the school that, you use in your request. So I know sometimes there's these hidden deadlines from other schools. Our assumption is that you are, requesting from the school that you are most likely to attend other than Berkeley, that you are most highly considering. So if the other school is one that you are, between those two options, you would more likely go with the one that you submitted the request from. That's our assumption. And so generally we're unable to like do early requests if there's all these sort of hidden deadlines. It would just be impossible for us to sort of manage that process. And so that being said, there is a possibility you could hear earlier than the 24th. As I mentioned, we are going to have additional awards go out most likely tomorrow and then kind of beginning to, mid of late, next week. So it's always possible you could hear back, but if you really want to be certain, I would definitely go to the other school that you have the earlier deadline with, and request an extension until the 30th or the 1st, whatever your other deadline is, to be on the safe side. Because yeah, we are really only able to use one deadline. Okay. I don't see any other questions. So I feel like we can probably wrap this up early, but if you do have any other questions, you're welcome to email us. Sorry, I think one additional question just came in, so we'll go ahead and take it since we have time.
Want me to read it?
It looks like it's a question for your team, actually. So do you want to
Oh,
just answer it out loud about how to make
yeah.
an appointment with financial aid?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've noticed the option to schedule a meeting with financial aid during visit day. Would you recommend if we're participating in reconsideration or SGA? Yes. So you can, let's see here. I guess I can drop the link in the chat, of our appointment. And then, yeah, we'd be happy to walk through with you if you have any questions. It never hurts to meet with our team and just talk through and navigate the process, help you feel comfortable. And we always like to talk to you.
And I do want to clarify as well I'm assuming that you're coming for the visit day that's happening on Monday. That's our last one on April 21st. If you're not able to make an appointment that day in person, you can also do a virtual appointment as well and get the same information. So don't feel like you need to speak with someone while you're here.
Okay, the
I
next.
see another question regarding the visit day. Oh, they want to know if it's helpful for them to bring the FAFSA form for reference during their meeting.
No.
I guess that I think what this person's trying to ask is like, what are the expectations if they're meeting with you as far as should they be bringing their request? Should they be like having the results of their SGA there? Like how in detail do you go in the appointment?
So we do have access to see your Berkeley Law gift aid offers. So if you want to bring in your other offers to talk about your strategies as to like how to move forward with the reconsideration process, we can help with that. If you want to explore other options in financial aid other than the gift aid, we can in general talk about what other options are available for students, and we do not have to look at your FAFSA form or a specific application per se for our counseling session. But if you have very specific question about your situation, then bring in any documentation or anything that you believe would be helpful for us to know. But no specific requirements as to what documentations are required.
Okay, and then I saw another question that came in. If we submitted a seat deposit deadline for a competing offer on our reconsideration request, and are we guaranteed to hear a decision favorable or otherwise before that date? So we are trying our best to get back to the deadline that you put on there, your scholarship deadline, your seat deposit deadline, whatever, that school specifically calls it. That being said, it's not a guarantee. As I mentioned earlier, for the most part, I've seen that we are getting back to people with at least a couple of days before their deadline with the other school. We're trying our best to do that. The situations I see where we haven't gotten back to somebody is if you are submitting the request within a couple of days of that deadline, because it does take a while for us to actually review. So for the most part, you can feel confident that we will get back to you by that date. And again, just make sure to read the other offer letter, like what time is the the deadline for the other school, and definitely wait as long as you can, if you're able to. But we have been meeting it for the most part, but we don't actually guarantee that you will hear by that date. Okay, I'm just monitoring the Q&A. So I don't see any other questions that came in, and I know we only have a few people here. So thanks for those that did join. Again, thank you for your patience during this process. I know it's difficult to wait and there's a lot of things going on and you're dealing with other schools as well and other deadlines. So we appreciate your patience and are trying our best to get back to everybody. The process will be wrapped up in a few weeks. And so if you do have any other questions that come in, feel free to email our office. You can always email admits@law.berkeley.edu. You can always make an appointment to meet with financial aid if you have questions about that. So we are here to help you and answer any questions you have. And have a good rest of your day, everybody. Thanks, Lauren and Rosanna.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.